Hi, I'm Bob Masalgo. Welcome to an in-studio session on WNRN. We're at In Your Ear Studios in Richmond for what's going to be a great session, some great music. I think you're really going to enjoy it. And we're joined by some members, WNRN members. It's our Member Appreciation Week. Thanks so much to you for coming, and let everybody know you're here. There we go. And we're really pleased to have the Ruen Brothers with us. They're kind enough to take their day off and come and play for us. They were at Jam and Java up in Vienna, Virginia last night, and they're on their way to shows in Tennessee, and they stopped by Richmond on the way, and it's really great to have them here. They've got a new album called 10 Paces. It's available now on Yep Rock Records. It's their third full album, and I think you're really going to like what you hear. Henry Rupert, welcome.
Welcome, Bob. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, so I think you said you played in Richmond before.
We have played in Richmond before. We came through here in 2021, I believe. November 2021, we were coming through. We opened up for Orville Peck, so that was a lot of fun. So yeah, with our friend there, and but that's the only time. But we are coming back in December. So we'll be coming doing a little show for you here.
Yeah, Richmond Music Hall. They're going to be there in December, and we'll detail the dates on that when it gets a little bit closer. But if you have your calendar, mark down the early part of December for that show. Yeah. The new album, 10 Paces, is a beautiful new release. Would you like to do one of the songs from that now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, we'll do the opening song from the record, and this is Slow Draw.
As we walk out to your car, I can see the stillness in your heart. Knowing we may never meet again, knowing we'll just be those distant friends. Yeah, I can feel the slowness inside you. I can feel the slowness inside me. I can feel the slowness, I can feel it hold us. I can feel the slowness, slow, 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 take me to the city, oh let's get drinks. Tell me again, though we stand on the brink. Yeah, you don't even think the trouble that you bring. I'll treat you like a queen, but I'll never be a king. As we walk onto your car, I can see the stillness in your heart. Knowing we may never meet again, knowing we'll just be those distant friends. Hey, I can feel the slowness inside you. I can feel the slowness inside me. I can feel the slowness, I can feel it hold us. I can feel the slowness, slow, 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 slow. Yeah, I can feel the slowness inside you. Yeah, I can feel the slowness inside me. Yeah, I can feel the slowness. I can feel it hold us. I can feel the slowness, slow, 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 slow.
Thank you very much.
The Ruen Brothers in an in-studio session on WNRN. We're at In Your Ear Studios in Richmond, and that's a song from their new album called 10 Paces, and it's available now on Yep Rock Records. I only had to listen to the album 2 or 3 times to figure out the obvious. There's a lot of Western imagery in this record.
That's right.
How did you get that interest to start with, coming from the UK?
Well, I think it's probably kind of unusual to picture these two guys from England creating this kind of like Western soundscape. And quite honestly, we're from the northeast coast of England. We're from a little rural industrial town called Scunthorpe. There's a lot of agricultural land. Our parents had a couple of rescue horses. We grew up sort of in that kind of world, and it was, we grew up on old black and white westerns. Our mum had just put it on the TV, and oddly enough, like country western music nights are a big thing in our hometown, and
we'd be hard to play them.
We'd be hard to play them.
Naturally, we needed a 2-hour repertoire of country songs. So.
Yeah, so we got into, Charlie Feathers, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, all that good stuff, and Charlie Rich, Eddie Arnold, and it kind of just, our love for that sort of music sort of grew from there. And then we also have a big interest in music and film, scores, the classic western sort of stuff, Ennio Morricone, and like Ry Cooder for Paris, Texas, things like that. So when making this record, we were going through a bit of a kick. You get influenced by certain things at certain times, depending on what you're listening to, what you're watching. And I think we dug up that movie, The Night of the Hunter, over COVID. And we probably watched that 2 or 3 times. And that kind of inspired this whole thing. It was weirdly enough. So that's kind of where all that Western influence came from. It stemmed kind of early, and then we had a newfound love for it again, sort of as over the pandemic, and yeah, it's how it came together.
Do you write together or independently?
We typically, all of our songs are listed as written together, but the initial idea will often come to one of us while we're alone, and then we'll sort of revise the ideas which we come up with independently together. So but that tends to be the later stages. Sometimes we can work on a song independently for a good couple of days before showing it to the other brother, I would say.
We pick our best that we write on our own, and then we come together and I'm like, what do you think to this? He goes, what do you think?
I don't show him my worst, basically.
Yeah.
So.
I show him everything, and he goes, no, I don't know about that.
Would you like to play another song from the new album?
Absolutely, yeah. This one is The Fear. And this one was inspired. I was living in Brooklyn at the time, and I had a studio basement, like my studio in my basement, and it flooded during Hurricane Ida, and so that put the fear in me, and that's what sort of stemmed the this song.
Can I take you home, baby? No, it's not late, but lately all the people outside, they make me want to go and hide. Laughter, love, and joy and hope all hanging from a shiny rope that wraps around my neck, my dear. I try to bottle up my fear. When I'm comfy in my bed, comfy in my home, lock the door so we're all alone. Comfy in my bed like a coffin in the ground, bury me deep, 6 feet down. So won't you stay here, please don't go, dear. You're my teddy bear, pillow in the air, miss me with no despair. When you're gone, skeleton and bone, and the ghosts they ride and roll. It's the fear in me, oh, the fear in me. Oh, the fear you'll leave, oh, the fear, my dear. Oh, the fear in me, oh, the fear you'll leave, as the world bleeds. Feel the fear in me. The pace at which they move is frightening, too much all the time like lightning. people all around the globe. They beat my brain and they overload, and they walk and talk with traffic heavy, smoke and signals blink unsteady. All my worries flurry by, oh, I watch this world slowly die. Oh, when I'm comfy in my bed, comfy in my home, you can rock my twilight zone. Comfy in my bed like a coffin in the ground. Bury me deep, 6 feet down. So won't you stay here? Please don't go, dear. You're my teddy bear, pillow in the air. Help me sleep with no despair. When you're gone, skeleton and bone, and the ghosts they ride and roll. It's the fear in me, oh, the fear in me, oh, the fear you leave, oh, the fear, my dear, oh, the fear in me, oh, the fear you leave, as the world bleeds. Feel the fear, oh, feel the fear in me.
Thank you very much.
The Ruen Brothers in studio on WNRN. That's from their new album, 10 Paces. It's available now on Yep Rock Records, and it is great to have them here with us in Richmond on their day off. They're headed down towards Tennessee for some more shows. And I think your career probably took it would be easy to say that it took a big leap on your first album because you got the support of Rick Rubin
Yeah.
to produce that first album. How did that come about?
So, yeah, that was kind of a sort of an awestruck sort of moment for us, because here we are, this relatively, unheard of band from the UK, and Rick Rubin sort of says, hey, I want to meet these guys. And it came about because he was in New York at the office of our first record label, and our A&R guy played him a demo track of Summer Sun, one of the songs from our first record. And it's funny because that demo track, we pass all of our songs by our dad, or we used to at least before this one, because we passed him this demo by, he goes, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
And we shelved it for 6 months, I think.
Our recording experiences before then were mostly just bedroom recordings. We had a little 4-track cassette recorder, which we made most of our stuff on. And we were actually picked up by the BBC about a year before meeting Rick. That was our first sort of flash into we get played on the radio. It went from local radio support to national radio support just off this demo we had made in our bedroom. And from that point onward, we didn't sort of want to change our sound too much, so we held off involving a producer for as long as possible, and then Rick came along.
But that demo was clearly okay because he he said, hey, I want to meet these guys. So we ended up taking a trip out to his house in Malibu, of all places. We were so nervous because our label said, whatever you do, don't you be late. And we were there an hour early. Sat waiting at the foot of Point Doom, waiting to go meet Rick. And we met him. We talked music for a couple of hours. He surprised us with a couple of guitars. He said, hey, play me some songs. And we were like, oh, no, we were not prepared. He was a big Beatles fan, big Phil Spector fan, Everly Brothers fan, as are we. And we kind of wanted to make the same record. And the last thing I said to him before leaving the house, because he doesn't give a lot away, and I said, so you want to do make some music together? And he just sort of went, yeah. And then we didn't hear anything for 2 weeks, and so I thought, I shouldn't have asked him that. We get the call on a Friday night. We're in our bed sit in London. Rupert's working on some mix of a demo. plenty of demos. And our A&R guy says, hey, good news and bad news. He goes, good news, you're going to be doing your whole record with Rick Rubin. Bad news is you got to get on the plane first thing tomorrow morning because you start on Monday. And so from Friday night to Monday morning, that's how quick it was to get out there and make that record. So that was the story of us coming together with Rick.
What's the biggest thing you took away from that session?
The song is the key focus. If the song is not good, you can dress it up as much as you want, but it'll never be a great song. And not give too much away. We just wanted to throw the kitchen sink because we had all these great players and every instrument known that you could possibly think of. And Rupert's great at building up the songs with various different instruments and layers. And we would overdub a ton of stuff, and he'd come in the studio and he'd go, no, we'll get rid of that. I'll save that for the last chorus. I'll save that for the second verse.
I think it was...
and I said, Rick, there's going to be nothing left at the beginning of the song if you keep taking everything out.
I think it was Einstein or somebody who said, make everything as simple as possible, but no more simple. Something like that. And I suppose...
That's very deep for you,
yeah,
sir.
cheers. Yeah, and I suppose that applies to recording as well. So.
Yeah, he's never quoted Einstein before. Well done, Rick. Very good, very good.
Would you like to introduce the band, yourself and the band?
Absolutely, yes. I'm Henry.
And I'm Rupert, and I should probably say I'm the younger brother.
Yeah, I don't think you could get a couple more English names than Henry and Rupert. It's dead easy to remember. And then over on percussion over here, we've got Wes. We met Wes in Louisville, where we recently moved to, and he's the tops.
Oh, once again, it's great to have you here. I know you have a long ways to go today to get to your shows in Tennessee, but do you have time for another song?
Of course,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This, like when you watch a movie and they say the name of the movie in the movie, and you go, oh, yeah, I see what they did there.
Well, this has the album title within the song. So.
This is The Good Shirley Die.
Late in the evening, do I play on your mind? Oh, it's when I really need you, harder to find. You don't seem to mind. Oh, knock on my window, blow the dust off my mind. Oh, and I found my ride beside you. I wrap my coat around you. You're in my picture where the good Shirley died. I took my ride beside you. I took 10 paces from you. You're in my picture where the good Shirley died. And when you told me that you needed some space, I gave you distance as you made up your case. I thought it was brave to take all our feelings and then leave it to fate. Oh, and it's harder, oh, harder, harder to take. Oh, harder, leave it to fate. Oh, you don't even say. Oh, I found my ride beside you. I wrapped my coat around you. You're in my picture where the good Shirley died. I took my ride beside you. I took 10 paces from you. This is the part where the good Shirley died. beside you. I wrapped my coat around you. You're in my picture with a good Shirley die. I took my ride beside you. I took 10 paces from you. This is the part where the good Shirley died.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you very much.
The Ruen Brothers in studio on WNRN. Henry, where did you guys record this album?
This was recorded actually bi-coastally. So I was in New York at the time, Rupert was in LA, and we have almost an identical studio setups either wherever we are. So I would be recording acoustic takes, vocals, various other little bits and bobs, sending them over to Rupert in LA, and he would be putting it together in Los Angeles. So it was a lot of we actually made this record separated, which is kind of crazy.
And then we mixed it, my end, in Los Angeles, and we mastered it there too. So, yeah.
That's terrific. I'm convinced you guys are going to eventually end up living in Montana or Wyoming. With this sound, you started in England, you went to the two coasts, you went to Louisville, you got to end up in the West somewhere.
That's it.
That sounds ideal.
That sounds good to me.
I want to thank you guys for coming in today. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you, Bob.
so much.
Appreciate
Thanks
you
for
guys
having
having us, and thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you, WNRN.
Yeah, let me thank Carlos and the rest of the team at In Your Ear Studios for their support on the session, Anna and Graham and the rest of the staff at WNRN, especially our WNRN members. Thank you so much for your support and for being here today. And once again, thanks to the Ruen Brothers.
Thank you, Bob.
For WNRN. For WNRN, I'm Bob Masago. Thanks again.